Hello on TikTok. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Water Cooler. I am Sarah from Texas, and this is our place to chat all the latest. Although it's been kind of quiet. I guess the political crap that was on last night, Anyways, it's kind of quiet in the celebrity news, but reality TV and Jeff Lewis extended. Obviously, it is September 11th, 23 years ago today. I wasn't even in Houston. I was in Pearland, Texas, where I still live. God, I've been here a long time. I'm from Houston, which is like 25 minutes away. And I was very pregnant, home from work. I had not had our first baby yet, and I was having a very not so fun medical procedure later that day. And so I was home watching the Today Show, and they started talking about the first plane. And of course, my brain as an American, a 28-year-old woman that had never really thought anything would happen to our amazing America, right? US of A, just living in my own US bubble, thinking, how did that happen? That's an accident. How do you accidentally run into a building? You know what I mean? So my brain was, and then I'm watching it live, the second airplane. Woo, get tingles talking about, got shingles too. Anyway, so that's where I was at when September 11th, 2001 happened. Obviously, my brain went, I didn't know all the other tragedies that were going to happen, that were planned and stopped and halted. Didn't know the buildings would fall. Didn't know all the eventual horrific tragedy that would happen. I itch so bad. Once I can itch this side because this isn't shingle side. This is shingle side. Once it all, unfolded over the next day or two or three, made me question bringing another human into this world. So made us think about a lot of things, right? Anyways, I have been to, watched all the documentaries. Every year we do. The voicemails, cell phones were common back then. I mean, I had one, but, it was a lot of voicemails on answering machines, right? People trying to reach their loved ones from the plane, but not everyone had a plane. Not everyone had a phone on the plane, right? So those messages are everywhere on documentaries. But in 2022, I think it was 2021, my friends and I flew to New York City to see Countess Luann. But one of the things that we did also was see the 9/11 Memorial Museum. So anyways, and the waterfall and all of that. So anyways, everyone that was personally affected, everyone was affected no matter what. But a lot of you have been messaging me. I made a video asking, this is just my eyebrow. I can touch it. Don't bitch and moan at me. These are the scabs, which are scabbed over. I'm not contagious at all anymore. I think it's been a couple of days or longer since I've been contagious because they're not weepy at all. I've learned a lot. So for all of y'all trying to tell me I'm contagious everywhere, no, I'm not. It's a very specific, you got to touch the goop and then touch someone that's either never had chickenpox or doesn't have the vaccine. Yeah, I can't give anyone shingles. I can't spread shingles. I can only spread chickenpox to someone. So anyways, I appreciate all the information, but some of y'all are very hardcore about wrong information. Anywho, I don't even know what I was saying. I made a video asking, where were you? Because I think it's one of those things, absolute, that we're like, we always know where we were, right? So, hey, Cheryl, welcome to the live. If you are brand new, get comfortable in comments. The whole point of this is not to just listen to me. It's our community. We are so lucky we have other people. We have found each other at 3 p.m. Eastern every weekday, live or watching the replay or the Sarah from Texas Facebook group to chat and comments and get to know each other and meet up in person. I just had to go to my kids' high school a couple of hours ago to pay for something, something coming up. And a girl, shout out D, I'm not going to say her name, but I'll just say D, the letter D, came up to me and was like, oh my gosh, I listened to your podcast. And at first I was like, oh God, like, no, because it's just, when you're a creator, when you do a podcast, you love the community. I love, love, love chatting with y'all. I love meeting y'all. I love making memories with y'all. But it's just that weird, you know what I mean? Like when somebody says they listen to your podcast because you're like, oh my God. But she was like, how's your shingles? And I'm like, oh my God, they're fine. Anyway, so we chatted and such. But I don't know what my point was with that. When I ran into her, it was just kind of like, oh, it reminds me that, there are real people that, that I'm chatting with, and I might say things that I wouldn't normally say in person to somebody else. So, anyways, I'm delusional. I would say thank you so much for all the messages. Y'all are amazing and so sweet and so helpful about these shingles. More helpful than the PA that I saw on Friday. But she did call me late yesterday. She did. Maybe she listens to the podcast and heard me bitching. No, I'm kidding. But she was like, how can I help? Basically, she said, look, the Valtrex and antiviral that I gave you for 7 days is the standard of care for shingles. I gave you 10 days because it was possibly behind your eye and it was on your head. So I knew it was more whatever. She also prescribed prednisone. Well, y'all know weeks ago, I was on prednisone during my COVID. I'm assuming that I had. It's horrific. But also, there's something about a steroid that just freaks me out. Like, she said it was okay to go on it twice, but I'm like, no. It's horrific to take. But it's a chore and it's stressful. But also, I was like, look, if you tell me this prednisone, nobody has told me take prednisone. Everyone has told me to get on this nerve pain medicine called gabapentin, which she won't do. She's like, no, I won't do that for you. It's not the standard of care. I mean, they act like I have a common cold or something. I'm like, lady, just because I have an extremely unusually high pain tolerance doesn't mean that this isn't bothering me, especially at night. But it is what it is. I'm over it. I'm done bitching. Yeah. You agree about the story? Yeah. Also, what I've read, because, they didn't tell me jack shit really at the appointment, is that, having a weakened immune system. I just had COVID, a very severe case of it. I was on a steroid. So those two things are some things that they think can trigger steroids. So, shingles, also stress. So, you know what I mean? Like I want nothing to do with prednisone ever again if I can get through it. And if she would have told me 1,000%, this is what you need to take, it'll help. Great. But nobody has told me that. And I'm sorry. I trust y'all that have been through it or had a husband deal with it, or so many of y'all have dealt with shingles and have personal experience. I would rather take y'all's information than a PA. I'm sorry. Sound like Jill Zarin. Okay. Enough of that. Okay, we're going to chat Dubai. We're going to chat Andy Cohen and his nanny drama, and Reggie Bush. And of course, today was Molly Sims and Kristen Takeman. Lots of model talk. It was so good. And then sleepovers. So let's get into it. Haven't listened to all of it yet because I was busy this morning. But and this, this thing is just, I'm trying to relax a lot. Andy Cohen live is back live, and he tells us a story that happened with his nanny yesterday. So how much guilt do we have as parents when our toddlers are having a meltdown in public and we know that all the looky-loos are on us? But when you're famous and you live in New York City and everyone knows where you live, and I'm sure they recognize Lucy, this is why he'll probably stop showing her face very soon, just like he stopped showing his 5-year-old Ben. His nanny is in the park with his daughter, Lucy, who's about 2.5 now. She's having a meltdown. They always have an agreement about what the punishment is, or what, they like a timeout, or, what they do for, meltdowns and such. She can sense that this woman is video recording her. So she realizes, oh, my boss is Andy freaking Cohen. Lucy freaking Cohen is on Instagram somewhat often, and she's probably recording me, like judging me for being Andy Cohen's nanny. So she tells him the story, and he's like, he's walking to the gym, I think today or later, and the lady says, I want to speak to you. He instantly knew it was the lady. He never tells her, but he instantly knew, oh, this is the lady that recorded my nanny. And it was. She's basically like, look, I need to tell you about your nanny. She was not doing what I think she should. She told Lucy to stop crying, and she's got big emotion. She needs to be able to cry. And he's just standing there like, first of all, I want to tell you so freaking bad, don't video record my child and my nanny during a meltdown. That is the worst of the worst. You're already feeling terrible as a parent or a caregiver being the nanny in public. You know people are judging you, even though their asshole kids have had 3 times the meltdowns this week and are way worse than yours, but they're judging you, right? And he never tells her that. He withholds, but he brings up a good point, and I have to agree. Is he more judged? Obviously, because he's famous, but also because he's a single gay dad. He brought these 2 children into the world without a partner, so he knew he was going to be a single gay dad unless he met someone, they start co-parenting together. But I absolutely think it's because he's a single gay dad. I feel like some people get more judginess, and I feel like he absolutely is. And I don't feel like he should. I think it's a beautiful thing. I remember, tell me in comments if you were watching live, that Watch What Happens Live, when he had all these housewives on and he announced, by the way, y'all, I get literally emotional thinking about it. He said, by the way, y'all, I just want to let you know, I'm about to be a dad. I've been in the process of a surrogate, and I'm going to be a dad. So I even called in one day when the day Lucy was born. I got like a vibe. He was saying something. He had gotten a text that he didn't want to say anything about. He had not told us he was having another kid. And I called in and I said, can I guess what your news is, what your text was about? He's like, sure, go ahead and guess. And I said, is Ben going to be a big brother? And I don't remember his response. I'd have to go and look at it, but listen to it again. But anyways, I was right. Literally that night at 5 or 6, it was announced that he had baby Lucy be born through another surrogate. Anyways, I just think it's awful. Like, I don't know. I am just a regular old normie mom in, the suburbs of Houston with 5 children by the same father. I can imagine if I had 5 kids by 5 different dads, it'd be like, oh, your kid's throwing a tantrum because you've got all these different daddies. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many reasons people can judge you, yet the most perfect parent, which there's not one out there, is going to have a toddler that throws a tantrum at the park. I mean, they're going to have a teenager that doesn't do their homework. They're going to have a college student that skips class. And you know what I mean? Anyways. Katrina says the efficacy of gabapentin has not been proven as a painkiller. I don't want the painkiller. I want it to stop the nerve zings. That's what I was told it would stop. It was originally made as an anti-epilepsy drug. The side effects are through the roof. Well, I will admit, Katrina, that is one of the things my doctor, the PA, said yesterday, is when I reminded her that I'm so nervous about being on this migraine medicine and alternating with Advil. I said, because I don't take medicine a lot. I said, I'm not on any prescription medicine. I said, and she said, well, that's another reason I wouldn't want to put you on this, because it does have a lot of side effects. And if you're not used to taking a lot of medicine, then I don't want you to be on it. So Barbie, yes, we chatted about that yesterday. Bethany Frankel's new man. Yes, check out yesterday's podcast. What else? Dave Grohl, I'm not into whoever that is, some band dude, but I guess he had a kid out of wedlock. Just looking at him, he looks dirty. He looks like he smells. I'm like, just be glad. I don't know if his wife is still banging him or not. I don't know what there's going on. Just because you're married doesn't mean you have a marriage. You know what I mean? Jeff Lewis has talked way too many times. Also, when Anthony Anderson was on, they really talked about a lot of famous rich people are married and it looks all great. They go to the events and they've got the gown on and the black tie and they do the red carpet and they've got the family and they've got 2 different homes. Like, they're not really having a marriage. You know what I mean? So I don't know if they are married or having a marriage. I have no idea about Dave Grohl, but he had a kid out of wedlock and I guess he feels bad about it and needed to chat about it. Worse than that, Reggie Bush, who was on, well, I knew him from dating Kim K. Dating with a K, as Gay Man with a Spray Tan says. I love Colt Paulson so much. But Reggie Bush was on Hollywood House Lift, and he's got a beautiful wife, and I think like 4 kids, pretty young. Somebody tried to somebody says Dave Grohl is the GOAT. I mean, physically though, like looking at him, doesn't he look like he stinks? Jeff says, is Jeff dating, or Laura Jane says, is Jeff dating someone new now? No. He might be doing people, but he's not dating people. He just takes baths with them and has coffee and lets them drive them home, which also probably means some woohoo afterwards. I don't know. Yes, Sinead says there's been no Jeff Lewis on YouTube in weeks. Those are all fake things, though. They're copyrighted material. They get taken down. Like, I don't know who that was putting them up there, but that's been happening for years where they put them up and then take them down. So it's illegal. That's why. So they get removed. Okay, but Reggie Bush is at his house and at 11 p.m. at night. So they know people are home. They probably knew this was Reggie Bush's home. I don't know if his wife and children were home, but I would like to think so, unless they were, school's in session. I would think they were at home. He heard glass break and he said something to them, like he called out to them, and then they left. But when the police got there, they saw the breaked glass. So they knew that something had happened. So it's just terrifying that, people don't, LA, but everywhere, people don't care if you're home anymore. That's different. This is similar to what happened with Joey Zalzig. I don't think he ever said if Brian was home that night. And then obviously we know now they ended up breaking up very soon after that. We don't know all the details of that. But anyways, an attempted home invasion. Home invasion means you were home. That's terrifying. It'd be terrifying to come home to that too. But to know 11 p.m. at night when people probably know you're home, what were they going to do? They weren't just trying to steal a bunch of TVs. You know what I mean? Like, that's terrifying. Deja Monet, I love it, says, how do I access the videos on the Sirius XM app? If you don't already have it saved on your, what is it called? Like your favorites, then go to the magnifying glass and type in Jeff Lewis video. Not Jeff Lewis Extended, not Jeff Lewis Live, not Jeff Lewis Has Issues, Jeff Lewis video. And you can see the pre-show, the commercial breaks, and the after show. It's so good. If only the first hour. Jeff Lewis Extended is not videoed and put up as far as we know. Okay. So because I'm suffering through shingles, I did go to bed last night at like 7:30. I know. It's literally rocking my world. My husband was watching the debate or whatever that nonsense was going on, and I just couldn't deal. He was outside at the TV watching it, and I just wasn't going to deal with any of that. So I went to bed at like 7 o'clock. So I have not watched the season reunion of Real Housewives of Dubai, but I did catch up on the latest episode and a half that I was behind. Am I the only person that has never in my life heard of a 7-star hotel? If y'all are sleeping on Real Housewives of Dubai, like I say, I always feel like I'm the only podcaster that talks about it. Like, is anyone else watching this show? Would I cry if they canceled it, if season 3 didn't come about? No, I've told y'all that before. But is Chanel Ayan wild AF and the outfits, the costumes that she shows up to golf in? Yes. Is her and Caroline Stanberry's fun friendship that we never thought would happen last year driving Lisa insane? Yes. Do I love it? Abso-freaking-lutely. I can't stand Lisa. I think she'll be the first one to divorce on the show. I'm just calling it. There's something going on with her and her husband. I don't like it at all. Don't really like her. Don't like how she handled her. What's her skincare line? Mona Ray, Mina Rowe, whatever it is. I don't like how she handled that. And then acted like Caroline Brooks doesn't own a spa or a salon that she could have borrowed or rented and used for her skincare launch. Like, what the F? But I've never heard of a 7-star hotel. I can't even imagine. I need to look up and see what it costs. Like, I can't even imagine. So Dubai is just money, like hand over foot. And they want to do a staycation because what's her name? Oh crap. What's her name? The girl, Jesus. She always reminds me of Jessel, but she's not Jessel from New York. Freaking whatever her name is. Doesn't want a third kid, and her husband wants a boy. Whatever her name. I know y'all will tell me. The one person that listens to that and watches this show will tell me. She wants to host for the season, for an event to go to the 7-star hotel. Freaking looks amazing. Like, I can't even imagine the wealth. I would feel so judged because I would show up in like, $25 shoes from TJ Maxx and, a Marshall's t-shirt. Heaven forbid I wouldn't show up in a native Texan t-shirt, but I would not have the clothes for that show at all. Like, I think I could fit in. Like, I think me and Caroline Stanberry would fit in. I do like her. Anyways, it's crazy. But they finally showed us, we know in real time because everything gets ruined. We know that Sarah and her best friend / business, Talene, thank you so much. She reminds me of Jessel. I don't know why. Talene actually looks physically a lot like Jen Aiden from New Jersey, right? Like a lot, but she just reminds me of, yes, I love TJ Maxx. Oh my God. I feel like I get such a deal there. But we know that in real time, Sarah and Saba are on the outs, her best friend, whatever, but she's still on the show because it's, whatever. And we already know that Sarah and her, what are they calling her? Like her, not boyfriend, the guy she's talking to that lives in Germany, whatever. Basically, he's not reaching out to her at all over all of this really kind of scary drama, knowing that her nanny or house manager, whatever they want to call it, was videoing or taking the cameras away and maybe trying to do something bad with her like 7-year-old son, right? Aiken is his name, Akin or something. But she calls him, I think, to play a game. This is probably why she can't keep a man. She basically calls and is like, hey, I just want you to know, I'm really busy. I'm going to focus on my son. You're in Germany. You're not here. I think we need to take a break. He hangs up on her. Yes, he hangs up on a grown-ass woman. I was like, was that an accident? First of all, it's one thing to be disrespected, but to be disrespected on freaking worldwide TV, Real Housewives of Dubai, I'd be like, oh no. But no, she still had communication with him. I think she's very insecure. I think she very much wants a father figure for her son, which I understand. Mahmoud. No, that's 90 Day Fiance. What's her son's name? Mahmoud? No, that's 90 Day Fiance. Anyways, good riddance though. Good riddance, Akin. I hope he reminds me of Sarper from 90 Day Fiance. Just a douchebag. Yes, eye candy, maybe good in bed. Probably not good at oral, just too into himself. But what a douchebag. Wait, what? What? Tea with Tambo says, I'm upset about Caroline Stanberry and her husband Sergio has purchased, she put in quotes, sacred land in Bali to build a spa. They're taking the land from native peoples. I'm done with Dubai as long as they are on the show. Ooh, I didn't know anything about that, but also don't know anything about. So if the land is sacred, would there be laws put in place about what can be built on that land? I don't know anything about it. I will admit, y'all know I'm not very smart. I didn't know though. N says Dubai is money and human rights violations. Ooh. Well, they let us know on the season finale though that surrogacy, the pings, the lightning strikes are happening right there. It's legal to now have surrogates. So I don't think Caroline and Sergio are ever having a baby together, whether she uses a surrogate or not. What else? This party that they co-hosted. So Chanel, I like to call her Chanel, but Ian and Caroline Stanberry are besties now. This really pisses Lisa off, who used to be besties with Chanel Ian. And she definitely doesn't like this new friendship. It was over the freaking top though. I mean, they are sitting in these like queen chairs and like asking people to touch their hand as they don't even welcome them. You know what I mean? I was like, what in the actual? I would be like, get the fudge up. Like, what are you doing? Give me a hug. Say hi to me. Offer me some guacamole. Don't be acting like this at a party. Lisa was not having it though. She was not into it, but I agree with her. As much as I don't like her, she said it seemed like played up. It seemed fake. It seemed like they were trying to piss her off. And I absolutely have to agree with her. So that part of it I didn't like. But I feel like Chanel Ian is like a 13-year-old girl, just like like she didn't have a childhood or, I don't know, whatever. She got all cut up down there, whatever happened to her in her life. I feel like she is just a kid at heart. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's pretty good. Did anyone watch the reunion and is it worth it? Like I haven't been on social media as much, trying to rest my eyes and, be in dark spaces and in no light and stimuli and all that stuff and petting my dog. But I haven't seen anyone talk about, I haven't seen any clips, any drama, anything, you know what I mean? What else? That's it for that. Okay. We're going to fly by today. We are going to fly by. By the way, I still want to do like an advice podcast. So y'all give me your ideas. I'm really behind on my Instagram DMs. I'm trying to get caught up on them, but send me your messages. I really want to figure out the best way to do that because I really think that would be fun. Like not even fun, I think helpful. I think a lot of us have situations where we want honest advice, but we don't want to give up the anonymous part of the neighbor, the husband, the spouse, the boss, the parent's child that's pissing you off at a sleepover, all those kinds of questions. I think I want to do, you would give advice on what? On anything. I think there's a need for getting advice from people out of the inner circle. Like I've been in situations where I want to ask someone about something, but I'm like, I don't want that to get back to this parent, or I don't want to get back to this teacher. You know what I mean? Like you never know who knows who. Like Jeff Lewis is always saying, I like to sit close with people at dinner because I don't want people hearing my conversations. If I'm bitch talking about somebody, I don't want someone to hear it and put it on Reddit like they did to Joey freaking Zauzig and put what I'm saying. Because if Jeff Lewis is having a conversation with his friend Shannon Bedore or MJ or Dr. Donna, he thinks it stops there. He is trusting that nobody else has that information unless they choose to share it. So when other nimwits hear it and share it, so I think that's the issue, that people want advice on issues, not gossip, but advice. Like literally, how would you do it? You know what I mean? Yes, Doreen says your advice on kids going to college would be helpful. I have so much advice on kids going to college, and I have thoughts on how college screws people over with making your kids take a theater class for a fine arts or a tennis class. Freaking bullshit. My husband is paying for all 3 of our kids that are in college right now. He'll pay for the other 2. I don't need them forcing these stupid classes on my children that we are paying for. Worse, what pisses me off is when kids don't choose to go to college because they can't afford to go into debt and their parents don't have the money to pay for it. Okay, there's my rant. I've got so much to say on college. I could give that spiel for sure. Anyways, Lisa loves dogs. Thank you for tapping the screen, everybody over on TikTok. I really appreciate it and sharing the live. Lisa loves dogs on TikTok says, I'll be watching Dubai Reunion. I've got it recorded. Let's chat about it after you watch it. Why would Jeff be on YouTube? Yeah, Jeff is not on YouTube. Radio Andy or Sirius XM is officially on YouTube as a channel, and they will put up clips sometimes, and I will reshare those. But there was some guy, girl, human, dog, parrot, I don't know who, that had they must have been an in at Radio Andy or Sirius XM because they would post the video before the video came up for me at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night in Texas. They were posting the full hour video. It takes a long time to upload a 1 hour video onto YouTube. It's not instant. Now I'm live on YouTube, so that goes up, but that's very different than recording an hour program and posting it up. Okay. Does that make sense? That's my content creator insider scoop for you. I've got information on that too. I was just texting with someone earlier, giving them advice on YouTube because I'm like, let me tell you the mistakes I made there. That way you don't make these same mistakes. Oh goodness. Mayboo. Oh dear, I've been, let's say, under the influence, Mayboo says, and spoke too loudly about people who happen to be a few seats down. Okay, you know where that's happened before? My mother, y'all know how much I love my mama. She's been gone almost 6 years now. Was at every baseball, softball, volleyball, theater. She was at everything with us, okay? Okay, maybe I can't talk about my mom. Anyways, that made me think about it. My mom was so ballsy. And if, like, at a softball game, you don't sit separate, like baseball, it's like the baseball team sits here and then the other team sits at a completely different set of bleachers most of the time for games and tournaments. Softball, for some reason, was all big one set of bleachers. So you never knew if this was somebody's grandma of the other side of the team's pitcher. You know what I mean? So my mom would be like, they need to get that girl out. And I'm like, shut up. This could be, and somebody, people would turn back. I'm like, oh, dear Jesus. My mother just said something to me that somebody else heard and it might have offended them. And I'm like, oh, geez, Louise. But, you know, it is what it is. Yes, Cecily says we always miss our mamas. Well, some people don't, because some people didn't get a great mama, but I really got a great mama. And anyways, but you know, that's a fun memory. You know what I mean? It's a fun memory. Fun memory. My mom having a loud mouth, you know what I mean? And being very opinionated. Oh gosh. Wait, what? What? I need to move to Massachusetts? Who dat on TikTok says I'm Mass? Do you mean Massachusetts? MASS. We have free college now for residents. Don't get me started on that. Y'all know. Okay, we're going to get into Jeff Lewis in a second. We're in Texas. 2 of my kids go to in-state public universities. Okay. One goes to an out-of-state college. So we pay 3 times the tuition. 3 times for a public university. If you are an in-state Georgia resident, they have, what do they call it? Zelle, and I don't know. They talk about it in the Facebook group. They got these different tax funded, maybe it's the lottery, I don't know, these tuition breaks, these programs, to where if you have the same grades as my kid did, she would have had free tuition, not room and board. They don't pay your dorm, they don't pay your apartment, but tuition, which is the very expensive part of college, for all 4 years. Texas doesn't have anything like that. Now, of course, you can get grants and Pels and stuff like that if you're lower income, and you can get loans, you get scholarships, you know. Yes, Zell and Hope's scholarships. Thank you. Oh, Elvingston Stephanie, my son went there. Yes. So I never knew that, but it's fine. I'm happy for Georgia. It pisses me off. First of all, it pisses me off that anyone charges 3 times the tuition. Why are you charging me extra because my child lives in a different state? If anything, I'm giving more money to the state because I'm paying for air flights. I'm paying for hotels. We rent Airbnbs when we go there. We rent cars. We go to restaurants when we visit there. Okay. And yet out-of-state tuition is 3 times the price of in-state tuition. I'm Cheryl Crow says, does Texas have income tax? No, we do not, but we have extremely high property taxes. Our property taxes are about almost 4%. And we don't have what California has, where, what is that called? Where if you buy a house in 1995 and it's worth $1 million, in 10 years later, you still only pay taxes on $1 million, even if it's worth $4 million. In Texas, our land and our value goes up every year, and we repay more taxes on that. And it's always more than your house would probably ever sell for. Prop 13, what does that mean? Oh, it was just passed in Massachusetts. That's what it's called? Okay. Anyways, so our property taxes are a lot higher. So homestead, if you're over 65, I don't know. I'm 14 years away from being 65 years old. Anyways, free college is meant to keep people living in the state. I think there's don't talk to me because I don't get political. But as a human, there are some sides of me, if you get to know me, that can really be very compassionate because I love humans. And I think there's some things as a whole, like public education, that we should take care of our society to keep our society moving forward. And I think that either lowering college cost, lowering the demand, the requirements to take these stupid ass classes like theater, and not that that's stupid. I mean, requiring you to take a fine arts when you're getting a medical degree. It has nothing to do with it. Requiring my kid to take a tennis class when her degree has nothing to do with tennis. She's busy today. Oh my goodness. Okay. Community college is now free in Massachusetts, Mary says. Well, they're saying everything is free and whatever. Even if community college was free, even if you had the option to get 2 years out of the way, but I also don't think that a college degree should be 4 years. I don't. I think it should be required to do a little, walk around with someone to make sure of what degree and what path you want to go into and what does this job really look like? You know what I mean? And then I think you should be required, like teachers are, to actually do the job or watch somebody do it. And that gives you a look like an internship to potentially get another job. I've got a kid that already has a job. She's got a full-time job when she graduates in a year. So, and that's from a paid internship that she did. Anyways, okay. So many thoughts. Cubby says, I don't watch Dubai either. It's very non-inclusive. Non-inclusive? There's so many what do you mean with that? Because they're not rich? So many other countries that Bravo could be in there, never understood it. I think it's because it's rich and aspirational. And that's kind of the basics of Real Housewives, right? But as far as not inclusive, I don't know. They've got so many people from different countries and interracial couples, and I love it. Single mom, like a divorced mom. I mean, I love it. I think it's very shout out. Okay. Today was Molly Sims and Kristen Takeman, two models that have known each other like 30 years. But how is that the case? They both look like they're 35 years old, literally, and they've known each other. I think now I've met Kristen Takeman a couple times. Love her. Y'all know that. I think she said she's been modeling since she was like 12. So she's literally been modeling almost her whole entire life. I don't know about that. I'm Cheryl Crow says a bachelor's degree hopefully means you're well-rounded as an individual. I just don't feel like college makes you well-rounded. I mean, okay. I can't talk about this. Gets me riled up. I'm very fortunate that we have put ourselves, because it's that we are responsible for our finances. We have put ourselves in a situation to pay for all 5 of the children that we chose to have. That is a gift my children get from us, and we let them know it is a gift, and it is a wonderful thing, and they're very appreciative of that. It makes me sad that so many people cannot go to college, or they come out in so much debt and pay off till they're like 45 years old. So that's my thoughts on college. Okay, they chat a lot. They're all parents. Molly has 3 kids. Kristen has 2 kids. Jeff Lewis has 1. Nobody else in the room has any kids. Okay, but they're talking about Meet the Teacher Night, which is very relatable to me, having 5 children. I was also an elementary school teacher for 5 years. So I was the volunteer, I was the parent, and then I was the teacher making the spiel in front of everyone, the kindergarten and pre-K teacher, being the Meet the Teacher. Hi, I'm Sarah, Miss, McFadden. I went to University of Houston. I'm married with 5 children. This is my X year of teaching. I'm so excited to be your kid's teacher. Da 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 da. I didn't even go. Now, granted, Today is Wednesday. Monday, I probably still wasn't contagious. And I could have put a Band-Aid on this because trust me, it's not contagious unless someone touches the juice it doesn't like spew out. It's not airborne. It's not from coughing. They literally have to, which I'm not touching. They literally have to touch the juice in your active shingles lesions to catch chicken pox. I cannot spread shingles to anyone. So anyways, I know all about it. Trust me. Even though people are like, oh my God, you went to dinner Friday night. Yes, I did. I sure did. Went out to dinner. Sure did. Had a great time. And I didn't go to our Meet the Teacher Monday night, but I don't think I've ever went to the high school ones. Like by then, I mean, it's like 7 teachers. Like, what are they going to do? You know, it's just overwhelming. You know what I mean? Wait, what? Wait, what? Oh, Mayboo. Are y'all talking about Sarah? Yeah, Kelly Dodd has been coming at Sarah Fraser and David, David, what's his last name? Anyways, their podcast that they talked about her. Yes. Kelly's like a dog with a bone in it, mocking the, yeah. Kelly's done that to me. Kelly doesn't like me either. I try to just leave her alone. Anyways, Meet the Teacher night though. It sounded so cute, Jeff talking about like him sitting in Monroe's chair, because that is what everyone does, right? But he says that, you know, Gage was there, but he was like all talking to the popular moms and the nice moms. And Jeff's like, I'm talking to the moms that don't fit in. I'm talking to the moms that are drinking before they come in. I'm talking to the ones that don't want to be there. I'm like, that is so me. But I understood what Kristen Tateman was saying is, you know, she's got high schoolers. That's very different than a second grade teacher. That is all like, you know, rainbows and freaking unicorns. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Christina's like, oh yeah, I rub my head all over the plates and silverware at the rest. It's so gross. Yeah, nothing like it. Yeah. Anyways. But I love that Jeff recognized a mom that was beautiful that nobody was chatting to. And it's because she was new to the school. So I think he went over there and did he go talk to her, or did he just look that she wasn't being talked to? I don't know which it was. David Yontef behind the Velvet Rope. Thank you so much, Cubby. Anyways, very sweet. I think second grade is it's a jump. It's like first grade is a big jump. You know, kindergarten's kind of like, oh, sweet, you know, whatever. First grade, they're like, look, we're starting to read. Second grade is like, we're writing, we're reading, we're doing a summary of the book we just read. I mean, it is a lot of times you're doing so much more in second grade. So it's only going to go up from there. But I love that Jeff is sharing it all with us. And, you know, just about the private school. My kids they did a private pre-K, you know, that was attached to a church nearby us. But that was a little bit the same because we had the fundraisers, you know, the whatever. The other things my kids did were Mother's Day out that were attached to churches. That's more like the public school route where, you know, you don't really volunteer. You don't really donate extra money. You just kind of pay your monthly dues. But listening to him talk about the difference between like private school and the money they want and the fundraisers, I think he's absolutely going to go in there and start volunteering and like whip that shit up. I loved his ideas on like, just see like who has a new show. How much the fact that somebody, I think even Carrie said this on Jeff Lewis Extended, you can legally, I don't know if you only have to be a real estate, a realtor, I don't know. You can look up what someone's house is worth. Say in LA, it's worth $3 million. I don't know. And say they only owe $400,000. Well, that's a lot of equity, right? Not necessarily money they can touch. So I don't really know how it makes sense, but basically they're saying they can look up these differences of like what your house is worth versus what you owe, basically seeing what kind of financial situation you're in. That's crazy. Yes. Johnny Marin says his school has a lot of celebrities, so I'm sure they can raise a large amount very fast. Yeah, but you're also paying for private school, just like you know, Carrie said, you're already paying tuition. Like, they also pay property tax, which isn't this everywhere? Part of your property taxes is school taxes, whether you have a kid or not. I have said for a long time, this is where I get kind of wonky, where people think I'm weird. I have said for a long time that, when people are, it's kind of socialism in a way that everyone in Texas, at least, I don't know, I've never lived anywhere else, how it works, whether you have children or not, you pay property taxes that go, a big chunk of that is school taxes. So that is part of your being to say, hey, I'm going to support, because it's better for our community, for society, to have kids go to public school, and I'm going to pay for that. But I've often said, I think it's weird that people do have to pay for that. If I choose to have 5 kids, I should pay 5 times as much as somebody with 1 kid in the public school system. But I think what they're starting to fight now is getting these vouchers or getting money so they can do these charter schools or private, because it does get a little bit sticky when you're forced, if you will, to pay for a public school system that you don't choose to put your kids in. You know what I mean? Fave Star says, I'd rather pay high taxes than use the public schools. I mean, clearly that's what we do. And there's a lot of there's a few private schools around us. We just chose which costs more, right? I mean, that's probably the one location and school taxes, your school system, are part of some of the main things that parents pay attention to whenever they move somewhere. Probably even if you're not a parent, you're paying attention to the schools, because that's what is important to people, and that's what keeps the property going up in value, right? Maintains the value, right? Shay B says, I paid 2 different school taxes because I'm in a county where there's 2 different counties in one school district. Okay, but they probably portioned it out, right? Like you weren't paying 100% of both of those, I'm assuming. I'm in a county. Well, I'm in a county where there's multiple school districts. You know what I mean? We have multiple school districts in my county. Anyways, I don't know. I'm also not technically in a city, right? I'm in a municipal utility district, whatever that means. I don't know. It's a separate tax I pay. But we're not in the city of Pearland, even though if my address says Pearland. Does that make sense? That kind of weird, where if I call the sheriff comes to us, not the city of Pearland police officers. You know what I mean? So, Mama Judy, shout out. She says, here in California, we live in a retirement community, age 55 and over. We can't have school-age kids here. 6,700 homes on our community. We all pay taxes for schools. So I'm curious, and I want to chat about this later with you, Mama Judy. Does this come up? Is this a bone of contention amongst the residents, or do they just agree it's all in the betterment of our community and our kids in the future? I mean, I obviously I see both sides, but you know what I mean? But I'm also one of those, like, personal responsibility. Y'all know, if you know me well enough, I'm all about that. And I do think if I chose to have 5 children, I should pay more, because I'm getting, thank goodness, I'm getting 5 kids worth of school out of my property taxes versus 1 kid. I also think I should pay more. I don't want to, but pay more in health insurance. Like, we pay one lump sum for my husband, saying spouse and children, or whatever it's called, whether we have 1 kid or 5 kids, we pay the same amount. Now, it's obnoxious, but we pay the same amount. Anyways, yes, I agree. N says good schools benefit everyone, which is exactly, but that's where my little bit of, that's where my brain goes. I agree. Yes, I don't have kids, have a few property tax bills, and never minded or even thought I should not pay for schools. Good for you. Jeff's got a colonoscopy coming up soon. I have had 2. 1, because my only sibling was diagnosed with rectal cancer at age 37, stage 4. Thank goodness he is a healthy 54-year-old man now still. And it came out that his was not genetic, but they did a colonoscopy on me as soon as I could, because I was breastfeeding my 4th kid at the time. and going under for the colonoscopy, I had to wean him. So I waited a little while till he was done nursing. But anyways, and then I did another, and that was all good. But the prep ain't no joke. But that was probably like 15 years ago. That boy is almost 17. So it's probably 16-ish years ago. Had another one about 5 years ago this fall. And just to check, because I've got unexplained chronic not diarrhea, unexplained chronic constipation. Fabulous. Anyway, so I had another colonoscopy then, but the prep is crazy. My doctor, my GI, gastroenterologist, Jeff keeps saying it wrong, does not do the pills. I don't know what they'll do at my next one. I think I'm supposed to go 8 years, but you know what? I need to call the doctor because, dang, time flies. And all of a sudden that's been, I can't remember if he told me 5 years or 8 years, but you know what? It's been 5 years this fall. Anyways, to get that done, but Jeff is going to get one done soon, but he keeps pushing it back because he's got these other, stem cells and his butt implants and all sorts of other stuff. Thank you, Liz and the Bee. I'm so thankful. My brother is amazing. I'm so lucky that he's healthy. You're right. Maybu, who lives in London, says our new government gives old people, old age, what is old age? People fuel allowance each year for the vulnerable. Have stopped it from this year. What is fuel allowance? Like gas for heat? Because it gets cold in London? Like, I don't mean to be silly, but I don't know if fuel allowance means like petrol for your car. You know what I mean? Thank you. Are y'all giving me black hearts? What is that? Thank you over on TikTok. Anyways, thank y'all for liking the live. I appreciate it so much. Oh my gosh, almost 4,000 likes. Tap, 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 tap the screen. That lets other people know that we're here and then they'll find us. You know what I mean? Anyway, so thank you. Oh, all the comments went up. Oh, I don't know what I did. Anyways, okay. What else? YSE Beauty. It's not pronounced. It's Wise Beauty. Why she did YSE as a spelling is beyond me. Code is CHUMPS 20, CHUMPS 20 for an extra 20% off. I think she has about 8 products. About 3 are sold out. So good luck shopping. I did reshare it on my Instagram story, but I was listening to it in my ear, my AirPod, when I was at the high school paying for something that I needed to pay for. And I think Kristen said something like, oh, I'm sure you'll put this on your socials, right? So I go to Molly Sims' social Instagram. She didn't put it anywhere. But also she has that thing where if you DM her, it instantly says like, basically you've got one shot to DM her, like whatever that is, you have it set up. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not even. So I sent her a message. She'll probably never even see it. So I did reshare it on my thing. But I'm like, she was promoting that she was on Jeff Lewis. She said, hey, I'm back as a chump, what have you. But I'm like, then promote Chumps 20. Like promote that you're giving, like chumps like to spend money. Like I don't love to spend money on, skincare and stuff because I'm lazy, but, chumps do. So promote it. Anyways, I thought it was interesting. We are doing somewhat good on time. I love that. Sarah Leffel says, Leffel, schools are our number one most important resource for all of our futures. I would agree with that. I just think I get into the school thing. I think it needs to extend into not necessarily college, career paths. You know what I mean? Anyways. Okay. Maybu says, yes, heating for over 70 years taken off the poor to give to the rich. I don't know what that means. Off the poor to give to the rich or off the rich to give to the poor? Off the poor to give. I don't know what that means. Okay. Carrie Lewis and Monica Casey. For everyone thinking that Monica Casey is on the outs with Jeff, they're not. She and her daughter Dylan are on the list to go to Disneyland to celebrate Monroe's birthday party. Also on that list today, which, I've said this the last couple of years. It's an interesting group that goes to Monroe's Disneyland birthday party every year. Like, yeah, she gets her 2 cousins there. I think the last couple of years, it's only been the one, Quinn that plays soccer, I don't even think Pepper's gone. But then the adults go, which I get, but it's like, let all the kids go. Like, she's in second grade. My daughter, we hosted a birthday party for her in second grade. There was 38 kids at our house. I mean, we were in Girl Scouts at kindergarten. We had already done ballet. We had done soccer. We had done karate. We had done ice skating. I mean, my kids did every activity under the sun. But through those things and play group and mommy groups and what have you, we met people and she met friends, much less the kids at school. So she's gone to this school since kindergarten. So she should have, these same besties that she has. I don't even think those kids even come with her to Disneyland. But by second grade, I don't love you, Oscar, but I don't think I'd want Oscar as counted. If he ends up being like the unofficial like leader, but I don't think he's going to be. I think they're paying to get this 10 people, whatever it is, private tour on Disneyland where they, take the tram ride and go around and stuff. He's going to be counted as one of those 10 people. And he's not, they're going to have this other leader. So then you're going to be like weird with that. Why can't I get these off? Swipe left to close. Okay, thank you. Now I got it off. I don't know. What do you think? Like, I never hear Jeff talk about like play dates or meeting a friend at the park or riding her bike outside or having a friend over. I mean, it does sound like Monroe has JOMO, joy of missing out, because he's mentioned a couple times lately she's fine staying at home. Like, she's good. She doesn't want to go to these birthday parties and such. But in second grade, I would think she would want friends at Disneyland and not like Oscar, who I doubt she's ever met. Oscar doesn't have kids. I mean, I don't know. I think it's interesting. Fave Stars on Instagram says, especially those friends Monroe has in school could probably afford to go also and be part of her birthday. Oh, they can definitely afford to pay for it themselves. But Jeff could also, have a couple of adults so he can hang out, the margaritas they talked about instead of walking around. Have a couple of adults hang around. Like it's perfect to me that Monica goes, but with Dylan. Now, are Dylan and Monroe the best of friends? No, they go to different schools now. They're not the same age. I don't think they live exactly, they don't exactly vacation together all the time. So I would think she would want her own friends. Like, I can't even imagine me telling my kids what kids would be at their birthday party. They'd be like, hell to the no. Oh, I love that. Lisa loves dogs, says, my daughter teaches second grade and it ain't easy. It is not. By the time you get up and like, that's why I did kindergarten and pre-K. I loved those ages, but you get much higher. And it's a lot. First of all, all teaching is a lot, no matter the grade. Anyways, thank y'all for tapping the screen. I really appreciate it. Oh, I just messed something up because we went past an hour. Anyways, we're going to wrap it up very soon. But real quick, I did want to chat about the sleepover thing because Monica brought up a very good point. I think they're all anti-sleepover, which is interesting because Jeff seems to be very anti-sleepover, very anti summer camps, overnight camps, things like that. It also sounds like Carrie's never allowed sleepovers except for super close family members. And I don't think Monica's allowed sleepovers either. They have a good idea where you just pick them up super late. Like, all the kids are going to bed when they're young at 11. When it gets older, they're right. They end up staying up all night or 2, 3, 4 in the morning. You pick them up. They're exhausted. They're grouchy. They haven't slept. They leave a charger. They left a pair of shorts over there. They left their favorite this. I mean, they didn't bring a toothbrush. I mean, it's a lot. Oh, I love that. Is that what it's called? Kristen Staubin on Instagram says it's called a late over instead of a sleepover. I love that. But it's true. I mean, Monica brought up guns at houses, older brothers or dads or anyone doing anything weird to kids, gummies that they might think is candy or vodka that they pour in with water. I mean, all sorts of things can happen at sleepovers that, I don't know. It's a weird, we allowed sleepovers in hindsight. I don't know of anything awful that ever happened or anything close to awful, thankfully. We've hosted a million sleepovers. They've been in a million sleepovers, but you truly never know. And who am I going to say you never know? Bill freaking Cosby, because he ruined it for everyone. You never know anyone now after Bill Cosby. AGFO0 says on TikTok says I always talk to my teenage daughter about the men in the home. It's not just men though; it's women. Look at YouTube. Some crazy women have done some crazy stuff. Who Dat says, has the world gone crazy? No sleepovers? I know, but there's a lot goes on at a sleepover. And then they're teenagers. And then like we have a home alarm. I'm very hands-on. I'm not a mom that's like drunk at 9 p.m. and not paying attention. Which is probably why my kids would rather go to sleepovers other places. But then you got like, do they have an alarm or are they paying attention? Are they allowed to sneak out? What's their curfew? It's a lot. I don't like being out of control. Probably how I don't like drinking. Oh my God. Christina says, or the dad who spiked the smoothies at his daughter's sleepover. See? Exactly. Well, this was a riled up episode. If I had Xanax, I think I would take one. Does Xanax calm you down? I don't even know what the hell it does. Michael Riley says, I was always anti-sleepovers. Yep. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. Mama Judy says, Jeff might regret not encouraging Monroe to have more friends her age. I don't even know if it's encouraging. I just never had to encourage my kids. But I guess every kid can have a different personality. I guess Jeff is so outgoing and charismatic and good with people. Like literally, y'all know I've met him so many times, but just to watch him from afar, he is really good at meeting people that he's never met before. I think he's like me. He can talk to a stranger. Like I can literally talk about 700 subjects to anybody. Like there's almost nothing that I don't feel like I could talk about. So it's interesting that he would have a daughter that wouldn't be social and have a lot of friends. You know what I mean? I don't know. Morgan Denisa says she may have friends when she's with Gage. I mean, Gage has definitely talked about that they do like things like go to events and holiday stuff. He has a very, not public, but he has a much larger birthday party, usually for Monroe with family and friends. So whereas Jeff doesn't have that. Jeff, I don't think has ever had a birthday party for her. He just does this, this Disneyland annual thing. So Deja Monet says, I'm also team no sleepovers. Yeah. Anyways. Okay. What is today? Wednesday? What is on tonight? $1 Million Listing LA or OC? One of those is on tonight. I don't remember what it is. Anyways, we will chat about whichever one it is tomorrow. And the other one we'll chat about in another one. Phyllis Montesano, what kind of a job did you and your husband have to be able to save enough money to put 5 kids through college? I was a stay-at-home mom almost our entire 24-year marriage. I was a public school teacher for 5 years. 2 of those years was as a PE, what they call paraprofessional. So I made $19,000 a year. So I clearly wasn't working for money. As a teacher, I was paid more, but the other one was $19,000. So anyways, obviously my husband's career is what finances my kids' college. So anyways. Okay, well, we will chat tomorrow, same place, same time. Make sure you follow me everywhere at Sarah from Texas Podcast. Make sure you listen as a podcast at Sarah from Texas and join the Facebook group, Sarah from Texas. It is definitely a great place for us to like meet up. If you happen to be going to the Danae Hayes live show September 27th, then make sure to get the event and meet up there. Here's you then says, why don't we see the husband? Because he's at work and this is my thing, not mine or not his or my kids. So it's all me and he supports it. He's well aware of what I do and very supportive. Anyways, okay. Bye, Chumpets. Bye, TikTok. Bye, Instagram.